right, hello everybody. I'm Brian, and this is AAMI News and Conversation. I'm here with Ralph Basile. We're going to talk about the AAMI Foundation in just a second. But before we do that, as always, Ralph, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Ralph Basile. My title is Corporate Standards Executive. I can never remember it, even though I made it up. But I'm with Healthmark Industries, which was recently acquired by Getting Us or Getting a company. I've been participant of AAMI for 23 or 24 years, and have been in different roles within AAMI. Obviously, very active in the Sterilization Standards Committee. Been fortunate enough to be actually on the AAMI Foundation board, and then also the AAMI board, and participate in AAMI activities in a number of ways.
Right, and so there's that word, the AAMI Foundation, and then we were talking about it a little bit before, but a lot of folks, even AAMI members, don't even know that the foundation exists.
Right.
So why don't you tell me, what is the foundation? What does it achieve?
Yeah, sure. So the AAMI Foundation, its mission and goal is to fund activities, scholarships, grants, awards that help ultimately improve practice in the healthcare industry, and particularly in the area of healthcare technology and the delivery of healthcare to the patient, and improve practice. And it's done we do this in a few different ways. Scholarships is one of the fun ways where, and it can be people at different points in their education, but there's the Miller Scholarship Fund, which will pay for, at least in part, education.
Right.
Those who submit, right? Actually, something recent, which was a really great innovation that Steve Campbell, who's been running the foundation for a number of years, started a couple of years ago, where the AAMI Foundation is actually flying the winners of the scholarship to the AAMI Exchange, which, as you know, is our major trade show every year. And it's very cool because then they get honored and recognized in person in a few different events during the week.
Really take advantage of that networking, get to know the right people.
Yeah, exactly.
The right people.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love seeing the scholarship winners every year. I know there's also some grants, research grants.
Yeah. So there's the Mary Logan Fund, which has been around for a number of years. It was fully funded initially by AAMI itself, and then of course garners donations every year. And that is to support research in various aspects of healthcare, again, to improve the delivery of healthcare technology. We were talking a little bit about last year's winner. ECRI was awarded $80,000 to do research into protective attire, and particularly they're focused in on issues related to strike-through, which really, and I'm involved in protective attire, so I'm familiar with the test methods and the standards. We don't really talk about strike through. So this is going to be a very interesting study. And ultimately, what it's going to do is going to protect the healthcare worker, primarily in this instance, but it could be the patient as well, but primarily the healthcare worker from a dangerous environment, whether it's decontam or surgery in a procedure area, et cetera. So it's a great example of how the grant program. Another one is a Kilmer Fund, which is relatively new. It came out of the Kilmer Conference, and that has been focused primarily on the sterility assurance, the end-to-end sterility, so things related to packaging or sterilization of items, different sterilization modalities. I happened last year, or 2022, awardees was what's called Wicked Stability. I'm not part of that group, but it came out of the KIP that we were talking about, or the Kilmer Innovation of Packaging. And what they're working to do is to reduce the burden of repetitive testing, because if you're a packaging manufacturer, or medical device manufacturer, you tend to do the same kind of testing over and over again with sterilization modalities and materials you already know, but we all do it in our own little silo, which takes a lot more time and money and expense, and slows down the delivery of innovative products to the patient. So that's an example from the Kilmer Fund.
You want some of the sharing of that knowledge.
Yeah. It's a collaborative effort. Again, one of the things an organization like AAMI, the AAMI Foundation, does is it separates the commercial aspect, right? And these are activities that are meant to benefit the entire industry, and again, ultimately the patient.
Yeah, and for those who are familiar with AAMI standards, they tend to have annexes and references that point back to a lot of new, never before seen research, really important information that's feeding into creating that state of the art.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. It almost sounds like the AAMI Foundation is it's a means to add to the engine, add more fuel to the engine, where we're having enabling new research and new ideas
Right,
to
right.
happen.
Yeah, no, well said, Brian. I mean, one of the things, and I think we're going to be more mindful of this
Mhm.
in as we go into the future, as part of this, the strategic plan for the foundation was updated late last year, and one of the things is maybe be more mindful and conscious of particularly in area grants, but also scholarships to support the activities of AAMI and the research that's needed, that we need evidence-based research. We were just talking about TIR 109, but the research that was done that came out of the KIP group and Kilmer related to transportation of medical devices remotely, both sterile and then coming back contaminated, is a great example. The AAMI Foundation did not fund that, but it would be a great program to fund, to inform then the development TIR 109. So it's it's evidence based, So yes, there's plenty of opportunities to do that, and part of our strategy is be, like I said, more mindful of that, conscious of that.
And so you've mentioned you're already on the board, but we're also talking about you're thinking of all these strategies and trying to dive deeper into it. And something that we've recently announced is that you're getting even more involved with your volunteer work with the AAMI Foundation, really overseeing a lot of these grants and whatnot. So why don't you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. So my role is to help develop the philanthropic aspects of the foundation. And so by philanthropic, it's obviously fundraising, and then it's also the awarding of grants, scholarships, and awards. And so, I often think of this as the virtuous circle. So what we want to do is identify, there's we already talked about existing areas where we've got funds in place. Maybe there would be some new funds or carve outs or identification that we would award donations, grants, et cetera, for. And I describe it as a virtuous circle because I think also that will help bring in new donors to the AAMI Foundation, because they'll see the benefit of supporting these industry-wide efforts to improve best practices in the industry. So one of the things, again, Steve Campbell's done a fantastic job running the foundation. So, coming in behind him is big shoes to fill. But I think one of the things that we can do also is increase the cadence of communication and let people know. So more people know about the AAMI Foundation that are already in the AAMI, already participants of AAMI. So we just had the opening plenary for the Sterilization Standards Committee this week, and I asked, and Janet kindly let me take about 5 minutes to talk to the group about the AAMI Foundation and all the great stuff that the foundation does, and I plan to do that with other committees as well, other AAMI committees, and in other venues too.
Yeah, beautiful. And I'll of course, we'll put in the description of this video a link to the foundation page. People can learn more about at least the opportunities that are available right now.
Yeah.
But it sounds like, thanks to your hard work, there will be more to come. So we'll keep our eye out for it.
And I'll be looking to you and your colleagues on the other side of the camera to help out, as well as elsewhere with an AAMI. And I know you guys have already played a big role in the success of foundation. So
I'm looking forward to it. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, great.
All right. Well, Ralph, it's been great talking about this, and we'll see what comes next.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, Brian.
All right.
Appreciate it.